You've probably heard this piece of advice before. Maybe from your grandma, maybe you saw it in a movie. It's one of those bits of wisdom that sounds, well, a little superstitious, right? Never, ever make a big, life-changing decision on a gloomy, rainy day. I mean, really think about that for a second. Picture it. You're sitting there, the rain is just streaking down the window pane, you're feeling kind of stuck, kind of down, and that huge decision you've been wrestling with, quitting the job, ending the relationship, making that massive financial leap, suddenly it doesn't just feel like an option, it feels like the only option. But should you really trust that feeling? It's so easy to just brush this off as, an old wives' tale. But what if there's a really deep psychological truth hiding inside this simple little rule? Well, as it turns out, there's some absolutely fascinating science that suggests your grandma was onto something very, very real. Okay, so to really get why a rainy day can be such a treacherous time to make a big call, we have to untangle two words we throw around all the time, as if they're the same thing: emotion and mood. But inside our brains, they're playing completely different games. This chart breaks it down perfectly. Think of it like this. Emotions are sprints. They're super intense, but they're over fast. We're talking seconds or minutes. Moods, on the other hand, they're marathons. They can hang around for hours, sometimes even days. And that leads us to the biggest difference of all. Emotions are there to change what you do, right now. Moods are there to change how you think. So let's look at emotion first. An emotion is basically your brain's emergency alarm system. It's always triggered by something specific, something happening right now. A car skids on the ice in front of you and bam, fear just floods your system. That fear doesn't want you to sit and think about the meaning of life. It wants you to act, to steer away, to hit the brakes. Its whole job is to bias your action. But a mood is a much weirder, much more subtle thing. It's that kind of low-level hum of feeling that's just there in the background. You know when you wake up in a bad mood, but you can't point to any single reason why? That's it. It isn't tied to one specific threat. Its purpose isn't to make you act, it's to actually alter your cognition, to change the very software your brain is using to process information. So that's the absolute key here. If moods are changing how we think, what does that actually look like? How does a bad mood, maybe one brought on by a gray, dreary day, literally hijack our thoughts? This quote from the research really nails it. A mood acts like a bouncer at the nightclub of your mind. Seriously, it stands at the velvet rope and decides which thoughts and memories get in and which ones have to stay outside. And when you're in a bad mood, that bouncer accentuates or waves in all the negative memories, while it attenuates or blocks the positive ones. Maybe the easiest way to think about it is like this. Your mood is like a pair of colored glasses. When you're in a great mood, you're wearing rose-colored glasses, right? The world seems full of possibilities. But when you're in a bad mood, say on a gloomy, rainy day, it's like you've put on these dark, gray-tinted glasses. And now everything you look at, your job, your relationship, your future, is filtered through that negativity. And this filter has some really specific effects. When you're in that bad mood, your brain can instantly pull up every mistake you've ever made, every failure, every regret. At the same time, memories of your successes or happy moments, they suddenly feel distant and hard to find. You start to see risk everywhere, overestimating the odds of bad outcomes, and you get stuck on tiny negative details instead of seeing the big picture. And hey, this isn't just some abstract theory. Researchers designed this absolutely brilliant experiment that actually caught this mental filter in the act, and it shows just how badly it can hijack our most important judgments about our own lives. Okay, so the setup was pretty simple. Researchers just called up a bunch of students on different days and asked them this one single, really profound question. All things considered, how satisfied are you with your life as a whole? I mean, that's a huge question, right? You'd think the answer would be based on, your entire life's experience. But it wasn't. What they found was just astonishing. The students they happened to call on bright, sunny days reported being way happier and more satisfied with their lives. But the students who got the exact same phone call on a cold, rainy day, they said they were less satisfied with their lives. As a whole, their entire life story was judged to be worse just because of the weather that morning. Now, that discovery alone is pretty mind-blowing, but the researchers didn't stop there. They suspected something even deeper was going on, and that led to the absolute best part of this whole study.
So for another group of students, they called on a rainy day. The interviewers added one tiny little question right at the beginning. They just said, "By the way, how's the weather down there?" And just by reminding them that it was raining, the entire negative effect disappeared. Poof! Their life satisfaction scores shot right back up to the same level as the students on the sunny days.
So what in the world was going on? Well, it's a classic psychological phenomenon called misattribution. The students were unconsciously using their bad feelings, their mood, as a piece of data to answer the life satisfaction question. They felt bad, so their brain went, well, I guess my life must be bad. But as soon as the interviewer mentioned the weather, their brain made the correct connection. Oh, I don't feel bad because my life sucks. I feel bad because it's gloomy outside. And just like that, the spell was broken.
So this is all fascinating stuff, but how do we take this science and actually use it to protect ourselves from falling into this judgment trap? How do we make sure our biggest life choices are based on reality and not just, the forecast? Let's go back to that person we imagined, looking out the rainy window, about to make a huge decision. They're not just feeling a little down. Their brain, under the influence of that weather-induced mood, is actively scanning for evidence that justifies that bad feeling. It's making a potentially catastrophic decision feel totally logical, even rational, when really, it's being driven by something completely random. And that brings us to a really simple but really powerful 3-step checklist. Before you make any big move, just stop. Step 1, acknowledge your mood. Just check in with yourself. How are you feeling right now? Good? Anxious? Irritable? Step 2, identify the source. Ask yourself, okay, why do I feel this way? Is it really about this huge decision? Or is it because you got 4 hours of sleep, you're hungry, or yes, because it's been pouring rain for 3 days? And finally, step 3, and this is the most important one, postpone the judgment. If you realize the source of your mood has nothing to do with the decision, just wait. Don't make the call until the clouds, both inside and outside, have a chance to clear. So in the end, that old rule to never make a big decision in the rain isn't just a superstition at all. It's actually a brilliant little piece of cognitive science. It's a powerful reminder that we are not always the cool, rational decision makers we like to think we are. And it really leaves us with one last crucial question to think about. If something as simple and random as the weather can powerfully sway our judgment, what other invisible forces are out there, quietly shaping our biggest choices every single day?